Hey everybody, Tim here with today's review of Doctor Who, story number 116, Logopolis. I can't even, how do you even talk about this story? So this is the last story for season 18. It's the last story for Tom Baker. We do see him a couple more times in future episodes, but still, this is the end of the era, the longest running Doctor. We get some new companions on board. Nyssa finally kind of comes on board, and we meet Tegan for the first time, which I'll tell you, before this story, I had never once heard the name Tegan before. I have a good friend, Andy, and I instantly messaged him, and I was like, hey, because he lives in Australia, and I was like, is Tegan an actual name? And he's like, yeah, I know plenty of girls named Tegan. And I was like, what? I've never heard this before. So anyways, 4 episodes, relatively good. The thing that stands out to me for this story is it's so all over the place. Even though it's 4 episodes and it's one story, almost every episode is its own little storyline. So, the whole first story where we meet Tegan and the TARDIS lands on a police box. And it's so they can get the dimensions and stuff. And it's already it's kind of weird. We meet Tegan and her aunt with the car trouble and having trouble with the wheels, and she's learning to be a stewardess. It's supposed to be her first name. It's okay. Once again, I always talk about how adorable Adric is and how cute he is, and him just laying on top of the police box. He's oh yeah, these are the dimensions. And it's oh, look at you just sitting up there. It's so cute. So, can't even get over that. So from there, we actually end up on, and the whole cloister bell thing, what does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. Erase it, you don't miss a beat. You could have cut this entire story down to 3 episodes, not missed a beat. So anyways, they eventually land on Logopolis. They realize Tegan's part of them, and they're okay, well, you're here now, so let's go. Nyssa ends up showing up, and you're okay, so this is a thing now. Again, no questioning it. It's just she's here. So it's okay. The scene of the TARDIS shrinking is kind of interesting. We see the Master turning people into dolls, which I had completely forgotten about, but evidently that does become a reoccurring theme. So I like that. When Nyssa finally sees the Master, thinking it's her father, I was oh, this is great. I could have done a whole episode of that. Really brief scene. Of course, the Logopolis people get the TARDIS to grow back, the Doctor's free, and finally we kind of come to the end of it where it's really kind of sad, it's really kind of interesting watching the Doctor fall to his death. Spoiler alert, a little late, but seeing him fall. And so the thing that bugs me about this whole thing, from the beginning to the end, is the Watcher, the man in white that they see everywhere. What is the point of that? I don't know. Granted, I've been drinking while watching this, but I don't get it. And finally, when the Doctor's this moment has been prepared for, and the Watcher lays on him, and he regenerates. It's why is this a thing? It's super awkward and it's super weird. Again, if you completely cut out the whole Watcher thing, wouldn't have missed a beat. Just have the Doctor fall and regenerate. I don't know. I really like this story. I do think it's really interesting. But I also think that it could have done with some editing. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think. As, I said, the final episode for the 4th Doctor, minus some brief cameo appearances. So let me know what you guys think. Personally, I really do like Tom Baker. I think he's a great Doctor. I, even now, to this day, look forward to him showing up, and I always kind of hope for him to sneak in there a little bit. But I really like him. As I come to the end of each Doctor, I think I'm going to kind of give my ranking. As of right now, it's going to be 2, 4, 3, 1 is my ranking for the Doctors. So, curious what you guys think. I will see you guys next time for the premiere of the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison's premiere, Castrovalvulva.